What's up, YouTube? It's your boys, number one, number two, right here, coming at you from the road to Nova Open. We're on our way. All right, hey, let's jump right in.
Okay.
You ready for this? It's 1,000. You know what Nova Open is by now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of content out there.
Unless you're not in America.
Right. Which, feel bad for you.
Yeah.
You know? Number one, USA number one. Anyways, 1,000 points, 5 rounds, veto by pool, 100 open slots, 50 tables. That's a lot of terrain to come up with.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. We're really excited.
2.5 hour rounds.
2.5 hour rounds. Boy, 1,000 points is big.
Yeah, you'll want to take something simple that doesn't make you have to think too
Right,
much.
which I definitely did.
What'd you take?
Well, we went big evil, which is fun. So I brought Angmar, you know?
Huh.
And I feel like it's the last hurrah with some of this Angmar stuff before they get changed, and namely one model,
Yeah.
the Shade. Hey, let me tell you my list. You want to hear my list?
Yeah, I have time.
Okay, all right, cool. I brought the Witch King. He's my leader. He's on horse. He's got the Crown of Morgul, which may surprise you.
Weird.
No Morgul Blade. And I forget how much will I took, but it's either like 13 or 14. I didn't go crazy. I think it's 13, 14. 3 Might, 3 Fate. He's my leader. With him are 6 orcs with shields. Obviously, they all have picks and axes. Duh. 5 spear boys and a banner. And then also 2 Deadmarsh Spectres. So that is my first warband. My second warband is a Shade. That Shade has 6 orcs with sword and board. Well, axe and board. 5 spear and board. And another banner. So I got 2 banners in there, just to be redundant, you know? Just, you gotta have that help. Then I have Gulavar, Terror of Arnor, Terror of the North. He has just 2 wild wargs with him. Just some little fast
2 wild, 2 furious.
Yeah, they are 2 wild, 2 furious. That's good. I like that. 2 fell, 2 furious.
Yeah.
They're not fell wargs, though, so that joke totally falls apart.
Start it over.
Yeah.
Cut that, Jamie, cut that.
And then I have 2 identical warbands, each with 1 Barrow White, 2 orcs with shield, 2 orcs with shield and spear, 1 two-handed orc, 1 Deadmarsh Spectre, and 2 orcs with bows. So I have 4 bows total in my army. My last warband is an orc captain with shield on Wog. He has 4 orcs with him, 1 of which has a shield, and 3 of which have spears. So I've got more spear guys than regular shield guys, just to bulk out. That is it. That's my 1,000 points right there. 54 models, 4 Deadmarsh Spectres, 2 Barrow Whites, the Witch King, Ghoulie, a Shade. A lot of stuff. Very straightforward to play.
Yeah, easy,
very straightforward
easy,
to face.
no thought.
Yeah, gonna be fine for 12.5 hours of games. Not gonna blow my mind at all. How about you? What are you running?
Well, let's talk, like, what,
Okay.
what are your thoughts going into this? Like, what are you, or maybe we're going to get to that, but like, what do you think your strengths are? What do you think your weaknesses are? What are you afraid of?
The good news is, because of how this army is structured, and I think that's true for a lot of armies at 1,000, I don't actually feel like I have a ton of big weaknesses.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, if I'm facing a big battle line, I got the Shade. Like, if I'm facing elves, I got the Shade. If I'm facing big beefy heroes, they tend to be susceptible to magic. So I feel like I have a lot of strengths, but a lot of other armies do. That being said, my army is still just orcs.
Yeah.
Shooting, I'm very scared of.
Yeah.
Crossing 24 inches against, like, elf bows, really scary. Because Gulavar really is a linchpin in the army. And the speed at which he could just disappear off the board is scary at 1,000 points. You have a lot of bows at 1,000 points. He's obviously susceptible to magic too, which is my other fear. Is there's going to be a lot of magic. I think facing other magic heavy lists are going to be tough and may not go my way as often as I would like. I mean, Gulavar is very susceptible to magic and is very high points value, so those could be scary.
Yeah, someone like with 2 wraiths or something could maybe just slap Will in the Shade a couple times and you kind of don't get to
Right,
do
and
that.
then I don't have the cool battle line anymore. And I mean, the Shade has 8 will, so I think I just
Yeah,
let
it'll
those
take a
ride.
bit, yeah.
But still,
Yeah.
you're right. It's Magic could burn me down and hurt pretty bad. But yeah, I mean, there's not one list that I'm like, oh, I really hope I don't face this. I don't want to face Terror really because I have no answer to Terror.
True.
Other Deadmar Specters can really wreck my day.
Yeah.
They can send my orcs anywhere they want. Yeah, and I expect to face at least one of those. Probably at least one mirror match. I think Angmar is going to be pretty popular here. I think at 1,000 points, you just get all the toys. On the other hand, a lot of lists get a lot of toys at 1,000.
Yeah.
So I don't,
There are not many non-scary lists at 1,000.
That's right. There really aren't. So there's nothing really that I'm like actively like, gosh, that would wreck me.
Yeah.
But I also think every fight's going to be hard. I also don't think there's great matchups for me across the board either. Like, only people who are like, I just went with a horde and no magic.
Right.
Okay, I'm into that.
Yeah.
And even then, a horde, I don't know. I still am just using orcs. So
Yep.
I don't know what I don't know. 1,000 points is very different. We've
Yep.
never done a 1,000-point tournament, so maybe I walk into this and I'm like, wow, I got totally wrecked. But, I feel like I got a lot of control, and I'm good at the battle line, and I got a big beefy hero, so I feel like I've got all my bases relatively covered,
I think so.
All right, how about you, man? Tell me about your army.
All right, I'm also an evil boy. Mordor and Serpent Horde.
It's a good
as I
combo.
often do.
Yeah, it's a good combo.
Suladan is my leader because my Witch King is on Fell Beast, so I want to be able to be aggressive with him. So not worrying about leader wounds or leader kills with the Witch King. Obviously, I don't want him to die, but it's at least not the end of the world. So yeah, I got Suladan. I got a couple Haradrim warriors and 3 merchant guards, 3 serpent riders with Suladan, and then with
I didn't realize you brought the chubby boys. I love
brought
the
3
merchant
chubby
guard,
boys.
man.
I
They're
like 'em.
cool.
They're-
I like them.
I want to keep them like behind my line just to protect from something
until
that
you're maybe getting
gets too
trapped,
aggressive, yeah.
making sure they kill. Yeah. I
Yep.
like them.
And then Witch King, Fell Beast.
Sorry, which king?
That one.
Oh, okay, that king.
3 might. I dropped him down to 2 fate. We'll see if I regret that. I think that'll be okay.
I think you're fine.
5 extra will. I also dropped recently. Crown of Morgul, obviously.
Yeah.
I got 8 Black Numenorians, 8 Morannon Orcs with spear and shield with him, and a Black Numenorian with a horn. I thought the horn was important because I brought Razgoosh with 2 bats, and those bats with their low courage.
Their courage 2, right?
Yeah, bringing them up to 3 is a big bump. And
It
just,
is.
at 1,000 points, it's going to help a lot with terror, a lot with breaking. Yeah. So I think it's worth the 30 points, 25 points, whatever it is. Threw it on a Black Numenorian. I'll just hide him somewhere at the beginning of the game and hopefully never lose him. So
I think that's a smart play. I think the horn's going to pay dividends through the tournament.
I think so, yeah.
How about you, man? What are you? Was that the whole army?
No, I also got
Oh, sorry, I forgot you have even more war bands.
I got a Ring Wraith.
Yeah, that's
generic
right.
Ring Wraith with 2 might, 1 extra fate and 2 will. So, 9 will, I guess that makes. With some more Black Numenorians and more Morannons and 1 Orc Tracker.
There you go. He's going to be your hero.
Yeah, so 54 models.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had 3 bows with the Haradrim and then the Orc Tracker. So just 4 bows total. So
It's not bad. It's not bad. How many Serpent Riders did you say you had?
3.
That's a good little cavalry contingent.
Yeah, and 1 Fell Ward just to,
Right.
do whatever.
Dude, the
And
2
2
bat
bats.
swarms. The 2
The
bat
mobility
swarms
is
with the
nice,
Witch
yeah.
King on the Fell Beast is like
Yeah.
such a tasty little combo.
Some games it doesn't pay off. You don't get to do the tasty snipe with the Witch King, but even then, objectives or trapping or whatever, they're useful.
Yeah, and I bet you with 2 casters, you'll be able to get a lot of heroes who aren't expecting it.
Compels, yeah.
Yeah, compelling and then just dude, it's good. I like it. It's a
I think it'll
cool
be good.
list.
All the terror causing heroes are interesting though, because those moves are not as reliable when your
Yes,
bats have to make
yes.
courage checks. But hopefully with 2 of them and them being courage 3 instead of 2,
Right.
it makes it a little more reliable because you only need 1 to
That's
succeed. But
I love it. I think it's a great list, man. I think
it'll
it's a
be
great
good,
list.
yeah.
How about you? What are you scared to face?
well, with the Fell Beast and the Flying Monster in the Way rules, like you,
Yeah.
elf bows, not quite as much as things like bolt throwers, siege weapons, and magic resistance. So, I don't think there's a ton of like heavily magic resistant armies out there. You know, if someone runs Last Alliance with Glorfindel and Elendil or something, that would be a bit of a tough nut.
I think you'll see a lot of Last Alliance. I'm expecting to, but I do love that you have. I love that you have Razgoosh.
Yeah,
I mean,
that'll
it's
help
a
against
little
that.
something, something.
It kind of counters like one of my bigger worries, which is getting shot to death.
Right.
Well, at least I've got Razgoosh to help kill some elves. I only have 12 total regular orc warriors, so that bonus isn't like super widespread in my army, but Razgoosh himself helps. And yeah, we'll see. Other than that, things I'm afraid of are, I don't know, what should I be afraid of?
I don't know. I mean, I think you're in a similar position as I am with Angmar, frankly.
Yeah, fearless armies, high courage armies are a little bit of a bummer since I got that terror front line. So, and, you know, Witch King causing terror, it's nice to not be as worried about getting surrounded by things that have to make courage checks. So, fearless is a bit of a concern. And
yeah, man, that Morannon Numenorian combo battle line is just so good. I mean, that's what I took to the last big tournament that we went to together, and oh my gosh. It's just so tasty.
Pretty good.
And you're just so happy to have it.
Yeah.
And they're courage 5 with the horn, right?
Yeah.
So if you're
6
facing
with the army
another
bonus.
yeah. Jeez.
If I get it. Yeah.
If you're facing another terror army, you're like, I don't care.
That's fine.
Oh, that's so good. I love it.
I think a lot of the weaknesses are mitigated. I don't think I'm super swingy or like super strong against anything in particular.
I feel the same way. Yeah.
I have, you know, a lot of bases kind of covered. I don't think, and things to be scared of, but people who know how to deal with bats and flying monsters can probably be defensive enough to not get too caught off guard by it, but we'll see. I mean, I think scenarios where you have to spread out are good for me because you can only protect your big heroes so much when your army's
That's when
split
the
up.
Witch King and his little bat buddies can zip around and take care of business.
Yep. And I think I'll have to use heroic combat smartly, maybe with something, just to help surprise the silly heroes, you know, fly a bat swarm and a Witch King at something.
List.
It's so fun.
Gonna be
That's why
so
I brought
fun
it.
to play.
I know, like Soldan and Witch King is like kind of meta, but
but yours
adding
is
the bats, I think,
different.
makes it different. And Felbeast doesn't seem wildly popular, so
no, it's a unique spin on a good list, and I think it's great, man. Well, what's your hopes for the tournament?
I think the usual hope is to have a winning record. 3-2 would make me happy. Obviously, better than that would be better than that, but that's all I can really hope for. Yeah,
this is a tournament where, you know, if we get 100 players at 5 rounds, all of the podium people are going to be undefeated.
Yeah.
I think realistically, you can have the top four, maybe the top 3 undefeated, and go into tiebreakers. You know, so it's basically losing one puts you out, which would be kind of nice. You're like, okay, the pressure's off. Yeah, same, man. I'm also like, this is, in my head, like, this is the farewell to this edition.
I think so,
I mean, we'll have a little bit of taper off, you know, but like, the Shade is done after this. This is the last time the Shade will do this ability, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think the new Shade is so much better. It's so much better for the game.
Much more reasonable.
Yeah, much more
better,
reasonable. It's definitely not better, but it's needed. Yeah. It's a good move. I'm so excited about the new edition. We've been talking about it for days now, of course. And but yeah, this is like a good farewell to this edition, and everyone's bringing out the big guns. Everyone's bringing out the best stuff of the edition, and that's really cool to me. And then we'll be ready for the next round.
Yep, I'm ready. I guess there might be a tournament with the old edition before then.
Could be.
Maybe
it'll be a small
one at
one.
most, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be maybe one more small one. That'd be fun. I'd love to say farewell to the Last Alliance one last time in this edition.
Yeah.
I doubt they're going to change a whole lot, but some.
Yeah. Might be better.
I think that's pretty much it. Why don't we report back in after we've done some stuff?
Hopefully, smiling faces after 3 victories.
We'll be smiling either way. It's
not me.
Just toy soldiers. But I think we're going to do some fun stuff with this video. We're going to maybe chat with some of our friends. I don't know. We're going to wing it. And you'll see the result of that winging it. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back in a little bit.
See ya.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Now for Wrath. I guess you never left. You probably haven't left.
Welcome back to the same video.
Welcome back to 2 days in the future from the last time you saw us mere moments ago. we're on our way back down from Nova, and we're going to talk about our games real quick. What else? What else to tee it up? We had an awesome time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huge thanks to Devin for running the show and everyone who volunteered to help judge and help manage scores. They were like super efficient. I mean, it was
good.
like
Yeah.
pairings are up seconds after scores are in. It was really,
Very
really
good.
well run. Super well run. It was awesome. Hey, without further ado, why don't we talk about our games? You want
Okay.
to do that? Let's talk about day one, game one. Why don't you take it away, Andrew? What you
Okay.
got? Day one, game one.
My game one was against Austin, and we played Assassination. Couldn't tell you who vetoed what, so I won't, because that would
Don't
be
even
lying.
bother.
Yep.
Why even?
He was running Angmar, so obviously a bad person. Only bad people run Angmar.
True.
Yeah, he had 3 Barrow Whites, Shade, Gullivar, Witch King, and probably something else. I don't know. It was a lot to deal with. So, yeah, Assassination. I chose as my target Gullivar and my assassin, the Witch King. I figured Gullivar was going to be in it, whereas
Yep,
things like
it
Barrow
usually is.
Whites aren't going to be, and he's D5, so. So, yeah. I had basically turn 1 of combat. I had a Razgoosh, between my battle lines and some bats on each side of him, so, no one could get to him. But then a Fell Light is in them, moved my bats 12 inches away,
Yep.
and Gullivar charged Razgoosh and killed him on turn 1, and that was his assassin, and that was his target.
Did you not strike with Razgoosh?
I don't remember the details. I'm sure I did.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That was
so
off to a
Gullivar
very bad start.
Did the dive? Yep.
Yep. And later, he pushed pretty deep with his Gullivar eventually, to the point where, he was in my back line, and my Witch King on Fell Beast was kind of ready to pounce. So, I played Angmar twice, but so I don't remember the details. But I had, I think, maybe Suladan he had put Gullivar into Suladan. I transfixed him, struck with Suladan. I transfixed him, moved on to with the Witch King, moved on to my bats to move them, realized I forgot to move the Witch King after I cast, and had moved on to, I had moved one other warrior.
You did the move, cast a spell, and then forgot to finish the move.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the plan was to charge Gullivar, and I would have killed him. So I moved one other thing. I said, I meant to move the Witch King. You're cool if I go ahead and just finish his move? And he said no, which, it was a bit of a bummer.
Yeah,
it's a thing that I would have granted someone.
I would have definitely too, and did.
Yeah.
I think more than once. I faced 3 Witch Kings today.
And I had granted him something earlier, which, in fairness, definitely not nearly as
Yeah,
impactful, but it was one of those things he wanted to win, so.
That's a tough thing. That's one of those things where it's like, hey, we are playing toy soldiers. You're not technically wrong.
Yep.
And
nothing
you're
happened
not
that
way
changed
beyond
my
it.
decision.
You're not way beyond that point at that point.
But
right?
anyway, it was friendly overall. That was a bit of a bummer. We had a bit of a conversation about it that, it didn't budge, so still killed Gullivar, but the Witch King didn't get to assassinate him, so that was 5 points for me. But towards the end of the game, a few turns towards the end of the game, I started sapping his Witch King, who was his leader's will, and eventually was able to charge him, get him down to 2 will, and then sapped his will again, and he disappeared. So I got the leader kill, he didn't kill my leader, so it ended up being a 7-7 draw. So
Wow, that's
he
a high-scoring draw.
Yeah, he got 7 for killing his target with his assassin. I got 5 for killing my target, and 2 for killing his leader.
Right.
It was cool. After turn 1, I was like, I'm happy with that result, because that was a disaster. But it's a bummer that had I just remembered to move the Witch King, it would have been a 9-2. Oh, if everything else had, 9-7, if everything else had panned out the same.
Right.
Oh well, you live, you learn.
That's right. Yeah, kind of a bummer, though, about it's toy soldiers at the end of the day, but there was some of that today.
And,
one of my games in particular.
I'm sure it being game 1 played into it,
Yeah.
had high hopes.
Yeah,
But
and it's one of those. It's like, it's not technically wrong.
Yeah,
you
it's
can't
technically
you
correct.
can't argue on the technicality of it.
Yeah.
It's more just on the hey, what are we setting ourselves up for? What are we holding ourselves to when we're playing with toy soldiers? And I'd like to think I'm very laid back.
Yeah.
And basically I tell my opponents I'm laid back until you're not.
We even
And
had
then
that
I
talk
won't be. Yeah.
earlier, and it came up because he had moved to Barrow White, Realized he wasn't going to get in range to cast what he wanted to, but had already like put spear supports, and I was like, "Dude, it's fine. You could have measured it and seen you would have gotten it, so let him move it back."
If you already conceded a move back,
and I even said like, I'm going to play it like that until you do. I'm definitely going to be laid back and let things go like that go. And he said, if it wasn't Nova, I was like, okay.
But you let it go.
Yeah. So
I hate that stuff.
Rules for thee, not for me.
Sorry
I guess.
for chewing ice. That's probably coming up on the mic.
It's okay.
But I did it. All right. Well.
How about you?
Bummer, but it was a draw. All right. My first game was against Daniel, who was really, really fun opponent. Really great guy. But I was not excited about this matchup because he was running Defenders of Helm's Deep. So 24 or 30-inch range on his bows, lots of elf bows. I think he had 15 elf bows. Every elf in his army was a bow, and I believe he had somewhere around 52 models, maybe more than that. I forget. Anyways, so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get wrecked here. But he did kind of what I was hoping he would do, which is... Oh, sorry, we were doing Fog of War. I basically sent my bulk of my army after my terrain objective. I was not subtle about it at all. I just, laser beam. But he had deployed pretty spaced out compared to me. I had my whole army here and then one chunk of my army on the other flank. I just sent everything forward. Did my thing with Gulavar, as you do, and Gimli was my target in Fog of War. And my Keep Alive was one of my Barrow Whites, because I knew, this is going to be fine. I figured his kill was Gulavar. That's, the best play.
Yeah.
And I will say, what I did in the beginning as I was marching up is I moved up Gulavar. He had in the ways, but that's just a juicy target. But I kind of ran the math in my head. I'm like, without an accuracy, he had Aragorn in the army. I was like, without an accuracy, it's like a 10% chance of scoring a wound. And with an accuracy, it's closer to 15 or something. So it's like, I'm just going to go for it. I'll probably cop 1, maybe 2 wounds on the way in. As a result, all of his shooting was on Gulavar, and I took 2 wounds on the way in. But so then I set Gulavar up nicely with some Fel Lights to be like, I'm going to go recharge. Yeah. And he did. He ate. Gulavar ate. I went for the Gimli kill. He had Gimli in his front line, so I got him moved out. Tried to get him moved out a second time, and he was able to resist my compel. I think he only had 1 will left, and I got a compel on a 6, and I think he got a 6 and got the will back, and I was like, oh boy, all right. So I couldn't get the Gimli out. But in the end, I managed to... Basically, it just became this huge scrum. Gulavar was doing all kinds of Gulavar things. He was kind of pushing back towards my objective, but not really. He kind of had contingent that swung in. Everything fought in the middle, and right on the last turn, I was able to get more guys into my terrain piece, my target terrain piece, than he was. And so I got points for that, and I kept my hero alive and unwounded. I forget what he got his points for. Oh, he kept his hero alive and unwounded, which I think it was Aragorn. No, it was Gimli. That's right. He was like, yeah, it was Gimli. So I was like, it would have been a big win had I gone the other way. And then he got 1 point for getting a wound on Gulavar, even though he ate back up. So it was a 4-4 draw. Great game. Really loved playing Daniel. It was super fun. It was super tense, close game, a lot of turns. But oh my gosh, so many throwing spears, so many bow shots. Yeah. But neither one of us broke. I was fully I'm gonna break on the way across. But because he focused so heavily on Gulavar, I think that allowed my orcs to get in, Yeah. But it was a great game, man. All right, your game 2.
Draw, brother. My game 2 was against Sam, who watches the channel. So
shout out to Sam.
Hey,
thanks
Sam.
for the kind words.
Also, super nice, very friendly opponent. And not opponent between games. We played Divide and Conquer. So he was running Lothlorien allied with Rohan. So he had Galadriel, and he had Grimbold and Theodred, and probably another Lothlorien hero that I don't remember, so might be. I think also 54 models. So yeah, Divide and Conquer. I put Razgush and the Ringwraith in one corner and Sul'dan and the Witch King in the other, and called a march on both ends, one with Razgush, one with Sul'dan. My goal is just to get to the middle as fast as possible and put my big terror-filled army on the objectives, especially the middle one. So I marched once with Sul'dan to get closer, and twice, two turns in a row with Razgush. So I was parked on the middle pretty well. just trying to slow the tide of him getting to me. And I did. I mean, yeah, the Witch King did his job. I think ended up killing Theodred after striking and barging into him after the Witch King had gotten peeled off, so that was nice. But yeah, just trying to hold back everything for the entire game. That's basically the name of what the game was just plugging up between terrain to keep him from getting onto the objectives, and I ended up winning 4-2. I don't remember all the details. I know I had more on the middle objective, which I think would give me, and he had some there, so which I think would give me maybe, I guess it must be 2 points.
I forget.
Yeah.
I think, is it 3 for the middle one?
Maybe it
and
is
2
3.
for the outer ones?
Yeah, because I had one of the outer ones,
7,
so that must
yeah.
be it. If I got 4 VPs. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I don't
He had
remember.
more on one of them, I think, and I had more on the other 2, I believe. So yeah, it was 4-2, which is double, which in this tournament means a major
Counts as a
victory.
major,
Yep.
right?
So yeah, it was a really fun game. It took a long time to develop with 1,000 points coming in from the corners.
It's a lot of moving, and especially tournament games where you have to cross the table edge are really rough.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you guys were on an edge though, right?
No, I had to go all the way around.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah, it was a long
I really
walk
think, I hope the new scenarios don't make, I don't know, Maelstrom's cool, but
Yeah.
when you have to walk around that long line of tables to get to the other
Yeah.
side, ugh.
Oh, that's where actually. So I think he had maybe 4 Royal Guards and 4 Riders of Rohan. The Bats tied up 4 of his Riders of Rohan for like a long time. They were his real hope to getting to one of the objectives, and I just kept them busy for so long. It was really nice. The 4
Oh, that's awesome.
wounds helped, and Fly helped. And,
Sure.
But yeah, they died eventually, but it was well worth it. But yeah, it was a fun
That's
game.
cool. That sounds like a good one. All right, my game 2 was against Paul the Barbarian. Probably my vote for favorite opponent of the tournament because he brought whiskey and shared that with
Yeah,
me.
that helps.
And it was really good whiskey too. And just his attitude was like so fun. We had a very chill game. Really fun. He was running Mordor. He had the Witch King on horse. He had Shagrat and Gothmog and a second caster, second Ring Wraith. So magic was going to be a thing. So right off the bat, so again the mission was recon. We were both pushing forward, pretty much got all our stuff on as it was developing. He got his wargs in and they did a march, so they were like right in my face, and then failed to roll terror every turn. He had 2 warg riders that literally never moved. And I was really making sure I always had my spirit heroes, like given that 3-inch bubble. But he just like could not get them in the fight. And I had these 2 archers who were like picking them off. I wound up like killing 2 warg riders with orc bows and
Nice.
like orc archers. But the big twist of this game was awesome. I mean, not awesome for me. He did a channeled black dart on Gullivar and rolled the 3. No, I think he rolled 2. He did 2 wounds to Gullivar. And I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta eat, gotta get that back. He had a couple of Morgul Knights, and I was able to compel a Morgul Knight for it, and then Gullivar rolled his courage to charge it, and I charged it, and I was within range of his Witch King now, because I compelled him out. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna call a heroic combat. He did not call a strike with his Witch King. All right,
Beautiful.
so I'm like, all right, cool. So I killed that Morgul Knight and 8, so he's back to 3 wounds. Charges Witch King, 4 dice to his 3 dice. His Witch King has a Morgul Blade, and I rolled a 3 high. I just needed 1-4, and I would have spent all the rest of Gullivar's might to absolutely eat the Witch King. Didn't happen though.
Yeah.
Instead, Gullivar died.
Yeah, Morgul
Right.
Knight's kind of Ghouli's nightmare. Now that I think about it, no fate. Or Morgul Blade.
Morgul
sorry.
Blade, yeah, Morgul Blade got him. So that was like, that was turn 2 of the first casualty of the game was Gullivar, and I was like, oh my god, I think I've lost this game. And so we kind of had 2 fights on the sides. There was like this big tower in the middle, and I was like, well, at this point, I'm not gonna push because I can't push, but I can play really defensive. And with Angmar, anything that's slipping around me, I can like try to get it back with compels, with fell lights, to make it so that he's gonna struggle to get around me. The fights really went my way. He had this classic Black Numenorian front line, but I wound up chewing up a lot of Black Numenorians because my shade was on point. And when your shade is there, you're just piercing, striking, and killing stuff.
Shade is so nasty.
It's awesome. So anyways, the game was just grindy. I don't think either one of us broke. Our leaders were just cagey. You know, his Witch King did come in at one point and do a really cool instill fear, but I wound up passing like just enough of the test to where it like blocked it up.
Yeah.
But I was like, that could be awesome. He could have opened up a huge channel, but it didn't materialize. Anyways, I was able to sneak 2 wargs off his back edge, who just kind of ran for it, and that was all. That's the only scoring thing, which I think is double, and that's 5 points if I remember correctly. But it was a 5-0 major win. Nothing else happened. We just grinded and grinded and grinded the whole game, and it was a great game. He was an awesome opponent, had so much fun, and Gullivar died to a Mortal Blade, which was wild.
It's a fun story. At
Yeah,
least.
it was cool. Because in my head, I'm like, oh my god, I just killed his Witch King. Like, Gullivar would have been rolling 8 dice, needing 4s to win the Witch King, and I had all his might. I'm like, I'll spend all the might to get the leader points and take out that caster.
Yeah.
Instead, I lost Gullivar, and I was like, oh my god. But
sad.
we hung in there. All right, so that was my game 2. All right, tell me about your game 3.
Yeah, so my game 3, I played Angmar again, so 2 for 3 so far. He had an Orc, obviously the Witch King, Gullivar, Orc Captain,
Yep.
Shade, 2 Barrow-wights. Yeah, so pretty,
that sounds
pretty
familiar.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we did Destroy the Supplies, which I always enjoy. It's a fun
Yeah,
scenario.
it's a great mission.
Yeah.
That's one of the better ones.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so on turns maybe 1 and 2, or at least, you know, as we got closer, so I sapped Will with the Witch King on his Shade, didn't resist, and I got rid of 3 Will, sapped Will with the Ring Wraith, didn't resist, and I got rid of 3 Will again. So the Shade kind of started the game at 2 Will. I think later I did it again and got rid of 1, something like that. Or maybe you cast another spell and you spent 1 to resist. So there was 1 turn of Shade the whole game, which was nice, because I knew the Shade, I'm not going to win the Warrior fight with the Shade around, so it's
a smart play.
I had to, yeah. Otherwise, yeah, I was further on his board edge than he was mine I think in general. Being pretty aggressive with the Witch King, but we ground and we grinded. We grinded and we grinded.
It's a ground or grinded?
Yes. Neither one of us was getting anywhere close to broken. I was getting close to, I had some opportunities maybe if things went really well to get on an objective, but he just, he kept a few things back there, and there was just too much going on. The Witch King could cast spells. I think he paralyzed a Black Numenorian at one point who was sort of close to an objective, but still not close enough. There was just, unless we had another 45 minutes, I don't think I would have gotten an objective. I think I was closer than he was to getting one, but it was just, nobody broke, nobody wounded a leader. It ended up at 0-0. He was an okay guy. It wasn't the friendliest game I've had, but it was fine.
Okay.
But anyway, a draw. 0-0.
Yeah, 0-0. My game 3 was against like the friendliest opponent I've ever played.
Nice.
He was running Mordor,
Okay.
which is 2 for 2 for me.
Yeah.
Witch King on Fell Beast. The leader
Nice.
was Suladon, standard.
Yeah.
Standard.
Original.
Black Numenorians, Morannons, a second caster,
Okay.
Razgoosh and Bats, which was kind of cool. Kind of a cool take.
That's cool.
And we did Destroy the Supplies.
Oh my god.
He sapped Will on my Shade, which I thought was a
Oh my
really
god.
good.
Great minds.
Yeah, was mostly in my deployment. Wait
a minute.
what the heck? Were
Steve-
you my opponent?
Steve?
Oh, stupid.
Kept it up for a long time.
Yeah, you did a good job with that. I
Thank
was
you.
cracking. Yeah, you pretty much covered all the bases. It was a
We
really
played each
good
other.
game. Honestly, it was a really good
Yeah.
game. I think given 45 minutes, my money was on you, but we were both pretty close to breaking.
Yeah.
But my leader was in the danger zone. Suladon could have gotten out, but I think all your might that was left was on Suladon, who you needed to get out, because I was about to start black darting him.
Yeah.
For the points, which was what I was going to do if we had one more turn. I was going to go for the black dart on Suli.
Yeah.
But we didn't. We didn't have one more turn.
I don't
And
think he didn't spend a single resource. I think he
didn't-
was 3-3. Well, I guess he only had one.
I
fate,
think
yeah.
you might have done one.
Maybe, yeah.
I think you did one move.
Yeah.
I think he had 2 might left, but everyone else was out.
Yeah.
I didn't. Did I kill your Witch King? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. I killed him
He ran out
right
of
towards
fate.
the end.
Yeah,
He ran
yeah.
out of fate. Yeah, that's right. Or ran out of will.
Yeah, because you were casting a lot on him towards the end there with Barrow-wights and Witch King, just forcing me to spin will.
Forcing me to spin the will so he could go away. Because that big flying base was so good on the objectives. But I do think I would have held for at least 2 more turns.
Yeah,
on
I
those
needed a fair amount of time to get anywhere.
Yeah, but you did have an army still coming down, and I think we were about neck and neck on losses.
Yeah, you had one more dead than me.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
But you still had better models too. So yeah, I mean it was a great game.
Yeah,
it was a great game. That was day 1. So we both were 2 draws and a major victory.
Yep.
Coming out of day 1, which that's not a bad place to be.
Yeah.
That night, just quickly talking about how much fun we had. We brought our kind of local crew, the Man Flesh enthusiasts. They were all there, showed up in force. We went to an awesome whiskey bar. Wait, that was the night before. Whiskey bar was the night before.
That's true.
Awesome.
That was the night we arrived. Yeah.
That was Friday night. That was fantastic. But yeah, we went to a burger joint, hung out with everybody. It's fun hearing about everybody's awesome stories from the day and all that. But shout out to that crew. That's kind of like probably overall my favorite part is like then getting together with all the friends after.
Yep.
All right, well, to keep moving, why don't we move on to today, this morning? Gosh, that already feels like yesterday.
Yeah, I'll remember these
My
a little
brain
better.
is exhausted. All right, tell me about your game 4. Game 4.
Yeah, so game 4 I played against Chris, who's a local guy, a nice guy. We've run some tournaments around us, so yeah, he was running a very soupy list. It was Thranduil, and then allied with so I guess Thorin was his leader from Erebor. So Thorin, Thranduil, Bard, Percy, the 2 kids, Alfred. Yeah, so soupy. Lots of mostly elves and survivors. He had like I think 5 dwarves on foot and maybe 2 goat riders or something like that. But yeah, Thorin was his leader. And we played Breakthrough, which is what I played last time I played Chris, which is funny.
It is.
So I deployed as far up as I could, parked on the objectives with my terror wall. As always, that's my hope is just to hold and not let them get on the objectives. Unfortunately, he had so many more warbands. He had like a single drop of Percy and other little things, or Alfred, sorry. So I kind of parked on my right. He ended up putting pretty much all of his force on my left. I had a little bit over there, but not that much. So I had to do a lot of shimmying to get back into the fight over there. But he kind of left his back open because he, deployed everything so far to the side. So I sent, I think, 3 of my Numenorians and Morannons towards his back objective, and they never got stopped or anything.
Oh, really? They just kind of walked through?
Yeah.
Huh.
He just had everything, because there was this big Amon Hin kind of building.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That he was on the other side of for the most part. I mean, he could have probably sent some Lake Town guys over, because that's all they had on that side, but he didn't, and they likely would have died. I had so much, like I said, a lot of my stuff was on the right, and he had almost nothing on the right, so if I needed to, I could have funneled more guys over there, but he could have, thrown one on to contest it. Anyway, he did end up, so the fights were not going my way on that side where he had all of his stuff, but mostly because I was so outnumbered over there and had to spend so much time getting over. But eventually, I sapped Thranduil's will because he had Aura of Dismay up, which was causing a lot of problems for me. Did that, killed Thorin's goat, couple other magic nice things, but really it was a fairly uneventful warrior-based grind. A couple transfixes to keep him from doing heroic combats and things and doing too much damage, but really it was a matter of the warriors fighting it out, me mostly losing that, but keeping his entire force just so occupied on that left side to where I ended up being uncontested on my own objective, uncontested on the one on my right, and uncontested on the one in his deployment zone.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. He did kill Suladan and I guess broke me, which I think got him 4 points, and I got 7 for all the objectives, and I didn't break him or anything, so it was a 7-4 minor win for me. It was a fun game. It was definitely worrying me at the beginning with how bad it was going, but it's an objective game. And
I remember looking over at one point, and you kind of gave me the
Yeah, I was losing so much. horrible dice luck on the duels. Not that I should have expected to win a whole lot, but it was worse than it should have been. But like I said, it's an objective game, and that's all I focused on, and it won for me. It was fun.
Nice.
Though. Yeah.
All right.
How about you?
Well, my game 4 was against a soup list. It was led by Haldir, Lothlorien. It was heavy warriors. So it was Haldir and Rumil from Lothlorien with a bunch of elveses. It was Legolas from Mirkwood, of course, with some Mirkwood boys. And then it was also Arvedui, or Arvedui, I don't know how you say it, from Arnor, which was not great when you're Angmar, you're a little scared. So with only 4 warbands, we were doing domination, so the objectives were pretty well spread out. Honestly, the objectives were set up more or less the way they are in Breakthrough, with the additional of one in the middle. They're kind of like across.
Yeah.
He deployed all of his Arnor force on one flank, and I decided that's where I'm going to send my Shade, because he'll just chew through me. I mean, no matter what, they're going to chew through me, but those guys are going to be killing me on 4s. And they outfight me, so they're basically better than elves, as far as I'm concerned. So I put my Shade over there and Gullivar, and then kind of everything else spread out across the front. All in all, the game was, grindy, of course, as you'd expect. Lot of fighting in 3 main pockets, fighting over the left objectives, the middle, and the right objectives. He outnumbered me. He had 57 models, and of course, and they outfight me, and they kill me easy, so I was losing more than he was, although not terribly so. I got a couple of really great hurls with Gullivar. I will say, my first kind of, yellow warning flags were kind of this is a little weird. I moved Ghoulie for a hurl, and I was like, look, there's clearly, a path. Was really pedantic about this very specific positioning, which is hard to measure. It's hard to measure from the middle of a 60 and a 25, and it's look, what I'm saying though is I have full motion here, so this is math, right? I just gotta find the right tangent to make that 90 degree, and we did it. We nope, you gotta move maybe just a millimeter, and it's all right, so that's fine, whatever. And then some other stuff came up that just the game kind of started getting a little it's not as fun or gentlemanly. You know what I mean? Which you're sort of this sucks for a 2.5 hour game. I remember at one point I unhorsed his cavalry, and what happens when you get unhorsed? Where do you put the guy?
In the middle.
Right. So he's so I go anywhere where the base was, so I'm gonna fall down into a spear support, and I'm no, dude, you can't do that. He was insistent, so we went to the rule book. So this is the 4th or 5th time we've gone to the rule book, which some of them I was wrong on, some of them he was good on.
He tried to tell us something from your table that was wrong also. I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember what that was, but I do remember that. Yeah. So then, which is fine. It's but that was one you're clearly trying to get one up here. You don't get to back into a spear support for getting on horse that. You don't get that benefit. Whatever. All fine. The game continues, goes on. We're right to the end. There's a lot of maneuvering going on to get those objectives. We have maybe 4 minutes left on the clock, but then there's a 10-minute grace period. It might be a little more than that. And, he's insistent on starting another turn. So I'm I don't really think we have time. With everything, if we're doing it right, we don't really have time. But, okay, we do. And we're speeding through it. We're speeding through fights. We're only doing the fights that matter. But one of the things I did was move Gullivar into his backfield to where he just needed to barge onto his objective to get to get a point there. And because we're speeding along so quickly, it's this fight doesn't matter. We just move past it. And we do the other fights. And I'm flustered at this point because I'm moving fast with Angmar. Angmar, you have to be deliberate. Every single thing matters. So I'm trying to accommodate and also flustered. You know what I mean? Which is fine. This is on me, really, to not see it. But we skipped that fight. And it's we're skipping fights to make sure we get done, right? And they're calling. 3 minutes left, and I'm just all right, we got to get this done. There's a lot of stuff over here that's going on. So in the end, the way it shakes out with the objectives is it's a 3-2. And we go to turn in the scores, immediately, because we're out of time. Turning in scores. And we're walking up there. We probably have a minute left. And we walk right back to the table. I'm dude, we didn't do my Gullivar fight. Which I set up to make sure I got a point.
Yeah.
And, he's well, we turned in the scores. I'm okay, fine. I'm but, I did that. I don't know, man. It doesn't feel good to have skipped that fight because we were trying to accommodate playing fast. Yeah. So he's well, let's roll it out and see what would have happened. And of course, Gullivar won and does the thing. And then is Tell you what, I'll put it to a roll-off, which I don't really... I mean, I'm like, whatever, man.
It was after like 5 minutes of him.
It was after 5 minutes of him being like, should I do the right thing? And it's like, I mean, honestly,
and saying
dude.
he knows he should.
Yeah, he's like, I know I should do the right thing here. And I don't know. It put a really bad taste in my mouth. But ultimately, the way I'm like, hey, man, if you really needed to win that game that badly, that's fine. Because this is not where my self-esteem is derived from. And we're in the middle of the pack. It's not like we're playing for podium. So if you really want to make sure that you're in the 20s or teens instead of the 30s, fine. But I was like, you had a choice to do the right thing here. Which, I mean, again, technically, yeah, we turned in the scores. That is on me. I will say that. And also, when you're like trying to accommodate that speed, and I deliberately moved that there very clearly, you know what I mean? It's like, if that's how you want to play it, man, go ahead. Like, have it. It wasn't like I made a mistake. It's not like I mismoved and later was like, oh my god, I should have moved him here. I moved him there to do the thing and we just skipped the fight. Like, it wasn't a board state that I missed.
Right.
It was us moving fast and had the time to do the fight. And then he was like, let's roll it and see what happens, which was probably to see if it would have failed. If it would have failed, it'd have been like, well, I guess it failed. But it didn't. It succeeded. And I rolled the bar, like all the stuff I needed to have happen. So, and then still was like, you know. Finally was like, I'll give it a roll off. What do you want? 4 up? And I'm like, dude, you're forcing me into this. So whatever, man. Like, I don't know. It put a bad taste in my mouth. Anyways, beyond that, it was cool to see all the pieces working as usual. But yeah, so that was a 2-3 minor loss.
Fine.
Yeah.
Not a good start to day 2. Emotionally.
Yeah, not just the feeling rushed thing. And I even said, I was like, dude, I
heard you. Yeah.
I don't like doing this because I feel really rushed, and this is not a rushed game.
Yeah, I was at the table next to Steven. Yeah,
and we got plenty of turns in.
Yeah.
It's not like we're, you know, and I'm not slow playing you. Yes, there's a lot of moving pieces, but I'm not like deliberately dragging the game down. And in fact, to be completely honest, I think he would have won more if we would have stopped when we stopped.
Yeah.
I actually think he would have won more. I think he would have.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, it is what it is.
Yep.
And it happens. But at the end of the day, I'll sleep fine tonight.
Yep.
Yeah, your game 5. Let's wrap it up on a high note.
Nope. This is not a high note for me.
Sorry.
It is a good story, but so my opponent was Benedict. Perfectly nice, friendly game. The bad was not because of the behavior of my opponent. We played. So he was running Minas Tirith. So he had Aragorn, Huron, Anborn, somebody else. Oh, Faramir.
Is it Aragorn King Elisar?
Yeah.
Nice. So all Minas Tirith.
Yep.
Cool.
So
hey, real quick, what does Anborn do? Do you remember? No.
He can spend a free might to edit like a,
when he shoots.
a shoot or a wound from a shot. I think
he's one of those like cheapy rangers.
Yep. So we did heirlooms. I don't remember who vetoed what. But I was the second veto, and I was like, I thought heirlooms was better than hold ground. I think were my 2 choices because I don't remember why. He had plenty of cav and things like that. So yeah, I vetoed that, and he deployed his Aragorn warband and maybe one other. So I'm glossing over. I think he had 2 warbands not show up on turn 1. One I got to place. Also he had a bolt thrower. That'll matter. One I got to place, so I stuck him in the corner. But Aragorn showed up on the side, kind of near 2 objectives. And then it was my turn. So I started with Razgush, trying to be a smart man. Because Razgush has 2 bat swarms with him, and they can dig up the heirloom on the turn that they come in.
That's right.
So
fly over and check it out.
So my goal was, okay, let's dig up the things near his army as soon as possible, so that they are not in play. Because 5 and 6 chance that that's not the heirloom. So
right.
You may come have deployed around a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter.
And then
gone. I just put the rest of my army. Razgush is
Brilliant
dead.
play.
Razgush is dead. Whatever. The rest of my army can go on the other objectives.
Great play.
Bat Swarm comes in. Past his army. His army of, I guess it would be 19 people at least. Huron ended up there too, so maybe he was already on the board. Anyway. First one I tried to dig up, which was in the heart of his army, I rolled a 6. So, already off to a very bad start. So, Witch King was next. He got to come in where I wanted, which is cool. So I put him on the other side of his army. Flew the Witch King near the bat swarm that had picked them up, trying to protect them as best
Yeah.
I can.
Try to get the move off next turn. 'Cause
Yeah.
The bat's holding the objective.
Yep. Still I couldn't protect the bats completely from getting charged. I was able to protect them from Aragorn, I think, which was the main thing I wanted. He was still able to get, I think, 2 knights into them. So, yeah. Basically, long story short, I think I tried to sap his will or compel him or something on the way in, but he resisted. Long story short, Aragorn and the Witch King had a fight. Actually, I think the bolt thrower shot the fell beast to death before that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The next turn, Aragorn charged Witch King. We had a strike off. He rolled a 1. I got really excited. Oh man, he's only fight 7. All I need is a 3, and I rolled a 2, so we were tied on fight.
Oh.
We fought. He got a 6. I got a 6, and he won the roll off. And
Did he have Zandriel Elven?
yeah,
Yeah.
didn't matter in this case, but yeah, he won the roll off and killed the Witch King. Not good. But wasn't fully over. Yeah, so there was a move off that I lost in there somewhere. Lost that roll off. Got the objective when I didn't want to. The amount of things that went wrong in turn 1 and 2 are... Oh, and Sul'dan didn't come on the board, and the Ring Wraith didn't come on the board. So we kept fighting, what was there. Sul'dan didn't come on turn 2, neither did the Ring Wraith. Sul'dan didn't come on turn 3. The Ring Wraith rolled a 2 on turn... I guess 3. Maybe 4. No, I think the Ring Wraith also rolled 3 ones
Ugh.
on Maelstrom. So
Gosh.
no, sorry, he rolled 3 ones and then a 2. On the 2, I was like, all right, I'm spending 2 might. He's coming on the board. Not on the edge I want him to. I didn't want north or south. I wanted east or west because that's where all the action was, but I didn't have a choice because I couldn't get to a 5. So.
Oh my gosh.
So the Ringwraith and his warband had a long trip to get to the middle. I got to cast a few spells. I think I compelled a Faramir once just to try and make holes for me to get back to the objective, but he just had so much stuff over there. And Sul'dan came on turn 4. North or south, still not ideal. I came on, tried to push my way towards the objective, but he got so much time to eat up the warbands that I did get on before then, that by the time Sul'dan's warband showed up, which was already pretty slim, there was just no way for me to break through. I had him 1 away from breaking.
Ugh.
Not that it would have changed anything, because it was a 12-0 as it was, because he had the objective, he broke me. I think he probably killed Sul'dan towards the end when I was being aggressive with a lot of last-ditch efforts to try and make something happen.
Right.
So yeah, it would have been 11-1 if I had broken him and killed one more model, but it was just doomed from...
Ouch. Yeah, that
so many
sucks.
things went wrong. I mean,
That's the problem with heirlooms.
Yeah, he played really smart. I made some dumb mistakes.
Yeah.
The Witch King was just barely in range of the Bolt Thrower, so the Fell Beast died on that turn to the Bolt Thrower.
Ouch.
And the Ring Wraith ended up dying to the Bolt Thrower too, just because I was, I was pretty flustered and just trying as hard as I could to get the Ring Wraith and all his friends in to at least cast some spells, but it was a disaster. One of the worst, turns 1 and 2 of any game I've ever had as far as, luck and things going wrong goes.
Yeah, that's hard to come back from.
I was so excited to, because he even looked in the rules, because he was like, "Oh man, can the bat swarms actually pick it up on the turn they come in?" I didn't think they could.
Yeah, there's
nothing
that
that
says
they
can.
can.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna hit that one, hit the other one that was next closest to him, and I was gonna be in great shape. Thinking about how things would have gone had that not been a 6.
You'd have been all over the other 3.
It would have been so great. Yeah.
Or the other 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a heartbreaker, man.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So I ended up 2 wins, 1 loss, and 2 draws. So,
All right.
A winning record, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Game 5 for you?
Game 5 for me was against Andrew. Not this
not me
Andrew.
this
So
time.
second Andrew, third Mordor.
Yep.
And he was running. He was new. He was pretty new to the game. I mean, he played Age of Sigmar a bunch, and this was, I think, maybe his first Lord of the Rings tournament. So he was running Mordor. He had the Witch King on Fell Beast as his leader. He had Gothmog on a Wog. He had a Great Beast of Gorgoroth. He also had a full contingent of Morgul Knights, which were gorgeous. His painting was awesome. I think I have a picture here that hopefully I'll show on the screen, but my god, his Morgul Knights were the best looking Morgul Knights I've ever seen. They're so cool. He also had a Mordor Troll in one of his warbands, so we did hold ground. I will say we got placed on a Lake Town board, and he was like, dude, there's like nowhere for my Great Beast to go. There's like poles they can't go through. And I was like, look, man, we ain't winning anything. We're at the end of the day. Let's go to the crazy boards, because all the like really beautiful crazy boards were for the people at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's. Why don't we do this? Let's go look at those boards, and we rolled to see which board we were going to play
Cool.
on.
That's
and
fine.
so I was like, I'll play on whatever board. At this point, I don't care.
Yeah.
Let's have a good time. He's new, and I'm like, I'm explaining him my whole army. I'm trying to give him all the knowledge, because Angmar is very hard for newer player.
Yeah.
This is probably like his 10th game or something. He knew. I mean, he was good. He knew what he was doing. He definitely war gamers kind of get it pretty quickly. Anyways, we did hold ground. We both marched a bunch towards the middle. My Deadmar Spectres were just having their way with his Moran and Orcs, like just keeping them back and keeping them back. The Witch King not sapped will. The Witch King drained courage on his Mordor Troll, and then I was making him do stuff with my Deadmar Spectres. And finally, as we got into range, his Great Beast kind of charged into my like flank and plopped on the objective of whole ground. He killed my captain and another orc, which was a pretty good trample.
Yeah.
But with a Fel Light is in them and some really clutch terror checks, my orcs were rolling like 9s and 10s for like 5 in a row. I put Gulavar and like 6 orcs on his troll and called a heroic combat. Because Gulavar knocks him down because he's higher strength. So
Oh, yeah.
he got in there. He didn't even need to. I did so many wounds to that thing.
Even though war beasts don't cause...
Not the war beast, on the troll.
Sorry.
On the
Okay,
troll.
yeah.
On the troll. So yeah, I got in on the troll. Gulavar ate the troll, which the Gulavar had also taken a lucky chip wound from. Again, all of his archers were shooting at Gulavar. He had taken a wound from orc archers, but got it back on the troll. Everything swarmed onto the Great Beast. Did 4 of 5 wounds to the Great Beast. He failed his courage check. Next turn, he turned, trampled into his line, but stopped on I think he only killed a handful of orcs. He killed as many orcs of mine as he did of his, but stopped pretty close by. I then sent Gulavar into another orc and barged into the Great Beast to finish it. And of course, most of the guys died falling off.
Yeah.
Those were the big turns. After that, he got the Witch King onto Gulavar without a strike, and I rolled a 2 high, despite being in shade range and banner range. So the Witch King won. Gulavar had all 5 dice, including the banner, and his Witch King had a shade on him, but he won, and Morgul bladed him. So Gulavar died again.
Beautiful.
To a Morgul blade. Which was at this point, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It was I think he loved it. It was a great moment for him, because he heroic combated into me, and I was like, I'm fight 7, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, go for it, man. And then killed him with the Morgul blade. I was like, okay, don't listen to me, dude.
Yeah.
After that, his Witch King dove into my rear lines, and I was able to totally trap him with my own Witch King, struck up, and we killed him there. So anyways, into the game, I had 28 models within 6 inches of the center objective, and I just managed to break him on the last turn by 1 model, I think. And he had 11 models, so I think it was a 10-0, because I had double but not quite triple.
Right.
Needed to kill a few more. So it was an awesome game. Andrew was such an awesome opponent, super cool.
Best Andrew of the tournament.
Yeah, definitely the best Andrew, probably in the entire tri-state region.
That's pretty good.
And it was an awesome game. I hope he had a good time too. I was like, dude, I know Angmar is not the coolest thing to play when you're learning the game.
Well, farewell to the Shade.
Yeah, farewell to the
in that
Shade.
form, anyway.
I told him that. I'm like, this is the last game I'm probably going to play with this Shade.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Shade was amazing. The Shade was amazing in 4 of my 5 games.
Should have sapped its will.
Yeah, that's right. So, bottom line, he went for a channeled Black Dart on my Witch King with 5 will. He had 17 will on his Witch King. He did a channeled Black Dart on me, and I was like, oh my gosh, but I resisted it.
Yeah. As one does.
Yeah. So anyways, that was the game, and I was similar to you. I was 2 major wins, 2 draws, and 1 minor loss. That was my record for the weekend, which, we hope to have a winning record. I guess that is technically a 2-1.
Yeah.
With draws being right in the middle, and I had an awesome time.
Yep.
I really had an amazing time. I am so tired. My body is wrecked. Those hotel tables are pretty low.
Yeah.
So the leaning, I'm wrecked. but it's a good wreck. It was really fun. And I'm ready to take a little break, and then the bug will come right back, and I'll be ready to paint more stuff and be into the new edition.
Yep.
I will say, I was talking to Sam Gallagher, and he kind of articulated a feeling I was kind of having going into the tournament. It's like, it sort of sucks to have the new edition right around the corner where that's what I'm really excited about. It's almost sapped the excitement of this a little bit. Because I'm so excited for the new edition. It's just kind of like, this tournament, like, whatever, man. I'm ready for the new stuff. So it was a good send-off to this edition.
Yeah.
It was a great send-off. Didn't do as well as I had hoped. 33rd out of, what were there, 85, 86
Something
signups?
like that, yeah.
So, I mean, upper half.
I was I was 39th, I think, yeah.
You were 39th.
So, still upper half. But
One of our club members got in the top 10.
Yep.
Chris. And a couple of the other guys were right after that. We had John Schlosser, Adam were up there. And then Chris and Connor, I think, I don't remember where they were, but is there anyone else that I'm forgetting
Adam was
about?
Adam was up above both of us.
Adam
too,
was above both of us, so was John. Yeah, so, a good showing from the crew.
Yeah.
But had an awesome time. Any closing thoughts?
No, I mean, just, makes me ready for like a small tournament.
Yeah, me too.
No, it was cool. Cool because of how many people are there, how many tables, but it's a hustle and bustle in place. So I'm like, I could go for a little
game store tournament. Yeah,
tournament or
same
something.
here, same here. Those are my favorite. I like those better than the
Yeah.
big conventions, but it's still cool to see.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll make the next one. So
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, hey, thanks everybody for watching. Team, I don't know when this is going out, but we are like so close to 1,000. So if you have not subscribed, pretty please help us out. We're right there, and that would be so cool. But yeah, thanks for watching. We appreciate everybody.
see ya.